Well, hello everyone. My name is David. I am a servant of God. Now, I got music in the background, and that's just for the intro. Doesn't mean that it's going to stay there. Matter of fact, I want to end it right about now and bring you up to speed. I've been researching the word God for the past 2.5, maybe 3 years. Where did the word God come from? And the reason why I did this because in the original script for all of the Bible, there was never a word that was given that was called God. Now, in the far east, there was an almighty dragon, and people worshiped this dragon by bowing down and putting their heads to the floor. Why? Because they could not look at him. Because to look at this dragon, this almighty dragon, would lose your life. Does this sound familiar? Now, this is a belief that was practiced some 5,000, 6,000 years before Moses was ever wrote the first book, before Moses was ever born, before there was ever a mention of a one God. But where did the word God come from? And I started thinking that we that speak English, this type of Latin that we speak, we have a silly habit of taking anagrams and making words, then forgetting what the anagrams are really meant to be. And that's what we've done with, I believe, I know, with the word God. Because what I found out, and I keep finding that over and over, it refers back to this dragon. And this dragon had this great, great ability of deceiving people. You think it's going to do one thing and it does the other. It's sort of like the genie in a bottle. Be careful of what you wish for. You might just get what it is. You won't, and then you realize that's not what you wish for. Like the man said, well, I wish everybody would quit laughing at me. And the genie said, fine. Nobody else will ever laugh at you again. And to find out if the genie was right, he started telling this joke. And as he told the joke, he was telling it to this one woman across the street from him. And she couldn't hear him. She kept putting her hands to her ear. And he decided, well, he'd just go over there and tell the joke anyway, so she's going to laugh. And as he was walking over there, he's shouting his name and not paying attention to him. Bam, he got run over by a car. The wish came true. Nobody would ever laugh at him again. He was dead. You know, sometimes with a dragon, we call deceiving, and sometimes tells just what we want to hear. That's the same thing for all the rules for being a great wizard or a witch. Great politician, too. Car salesmen fit into that category. To see, the wizards are not the ones that can do all this hocus pocus and stuff like that, and all the magic and everything that you see that passes through. We like to think that is magic, but we all know it's not. It's like the man, he's standing there and he's got a magician in his face. He says, I got a wadded up piece of paper ball right here. I'm going to wad it up and I'm going to shift it from one hand to another. And what he doesn't see is that one hand tosses ball over the man's shoulder. And The man doesn't see it, and he says, "Now, which hand it is it?" And the man picked out one hand. He shows nothing there. He says, "Well, then it has to be in this one." And when he opens up, there is nothing there. And the guy is amazed. Where did the ball go? Well, the man was so amazed because he's wanting to see the white piece of paper ball get disappear. It did. The magician told the man just what he wanted to hear, showed him just what he wanted to see. That's the same thing that's happening with you. You know, fear has killed more people in this world than anything, any type of disease could ever kill. Any type of just old age, just anything else. Fear has killed a lots of people. You don't believe me? Think back to all the wars that's ever happened in this world. It was over fear of this person or that person. That because this nation want to be like this and that nation want to be like that. And fear that one of the others going to become more powerful and wipe the other one out caused the war. Fear. Fear is when you walking down the street and you see somebody coming to you and you decide to walk across the street to the other side because you don't want to get close to that person coming to you. That's fear. Fear is the essence of every bit of prejudice that we have in our world. How is that possible? Just think about it. The fear of every nationality is that there is somebody in the other nationality that's going to do them harm or think they're better or try to put them under. This is what fear is. And it starts wars, it starts killing. It even is a thing that feeds lots of serial killers. They want to see your fear. They're not worried about dying themselves. They know they're going to die. It's inevitable that everybody's going to die. But some serial killers, they like to see fear in others. Fear. It does more to kill people than anything else. So why am I saying this? Because I'm bringing you to what's called the COVID-19 fear problem. Back before all this got started, we had lots of fear coming up into our heads. Even I played into it. And the fear starts all the way back when there was a bunch of people in America at a convention that died from a simple bacteria. A bacteria that got into the vegetables and fruits and stuff like that from the wrong type of fertilizer and stuff and an over farmed piece of soil and got in there and the people eat it and killed them. But it also goes back to the time of the plague. Once we figured out what actually caused the plague, it's been a fear in the back of our mind. Lots of people said it was the fleas. No, what it was a fungus that was on the rye that some of the rats were eating and becoming infected with this fungus. The fleas was biting these infected rats and then jumping on people and eating them. The people that have not eaten this type of rye with this fungus on it was not immune to the quick change in their body that had to happen. Thus, the plague started. We call them many different things, but it was just a fungus that killed them, and people started dying and killing others just because they had it. They got the plague, put them out of their misery. Fear did this. Fear plays a part in COVID. You know, I've learned lately that the Spanish flu was something that happened in Spain. And it wasn't a flu virus, it was just a type of common cold. But because it got out the way it was, this is the way the media and everybody else portrayed it, the Spanish flu. Why? I have no idea why they called it that, but that's what they called it. The thing about polio, the thing about measles, rubella, chickenpox, mumps, childhood diseases, fear is what caused the United States to do what they've done. Require every school-age child to have shot records to show that from the time they're born till the time they enter school, that they've had their shots. It's kind of funny because now all the adults they're having to do this again, and they think that it's something new. It's not something new, people. But let's get into the COVID-19 thing. When the COVID-19 came out, we had all these fears ingrained into us. So when there was somebody from a disease control out there studying and said they didn't know what it was from, and we started worrying could it be another thing of SARS? Because these people were dying and stuff. And that contributed to this COVID-19. COVID-19 is a virus, all right, but it's a virus in the same sense that as the common cold, the virus that you get. It's a little bit more stronger than that of a flu virus, but it is in the same category as that. It's always been defined. It got separated because it became 19, and they said that it could become a little bit more contagious. And there's where the media took it, and they ran with it. This is fear mongering. The people wanted to think that this was something to be afraid of. So the media gave them what they wanted. You want to be afraid of it? Okay, this could be a pandemic. The media said it, not in health organization. It was the media that said, could this be another pandemic, something that we're going to have to worry about? That's going to go all over the world. Well, yeah, it's going to go all over the world. And it's probably going to kill more people than what the flu or common cold would, but it's going to kill more people. And not as much as the plague or polio, mumps, or measles could. If it broke out again, but yeah, it could. Cholera, if it really broke out, could kill a lot more people. A dengue fever, or people call it yellow fever, can do lots more damage. The Rocky Mountain spotted fever could kill lots more if it broke out and went all over. But it doesn't because it's pretty much all contained. They know what causes it. And so it's never, it could, well, it could become a pandemic, but to be a pandemic, it had to be about 150, 200 years from now before anybody would even consider them to be a pandemic. But the media took this COVID-19 and decided to dramatize this little illness that was coming out of China. But it wasn't just China. At the time, it was other countries that was still experiencing it. You just didn't know it because it wasn't recognized as that. There was people throughout America that was getting sick, and lots of them didn't know why. Lots of doctors didn't have a description for what was making them sick, but yet they got sick. And I think it was from the COVID-19 because most doctors around here in America and throughout the world was already treating people for cold-like or flu-like symptoms, but they were panicking. And so the treatment was very simple. Go home, rest, drink lots of fluid, take it easy for a little bit, and let it run its course. And that's what has happened. And it's been passed over person to person. But before it came out and the media got a hold of it, I think it was already here in lots of different places throughout the world. It's only when the media got it and they started giving us what we wanted to hear, a pandemic. Then it became a global thing. Then there became a test that we could take to find out if it was COVID-19, and it proved to be true. The test did prove that it was COVID. And then, like any virus, it's going to change. And at first, that's what happened. And people started calling it a variance. Well, it's mutation. The virus is going to change. If you had the COVID-19 or COVID in you, you breathe in and breathe out the air. And when you breathe out, within that spray of air, which is moist air, there are hundreds of thousands of COVID-19, maybe even millions of them being blown back out from your air. That's the reason why for the face mask, it's not to protect you from others, it's to protect others from you. If you have it, let that mask kind of trap it. But yet the virus is so small till the mask we have can't rightfully filtrate it because what they said that the days masks that people are wearing can filtrate out stuff that is 0.002 microns. And what COVID is 0.0004 microns, which is a lot smaller than the two. It means it passed right through that. It might have a hard time, but it still passed through it. But anyway, that's the reason why for the mask, we started doing that because it was the media that suggested it. Maybe we should wear a mask to protect others. All of a sudden, there's mask mandate to do this. Uh, it's fear, people, that's killing others from the COVID-19. It is fear that's playing the large part of spreading this to everybody else. And if you think that President Biden is putting things out there that has never been done before, no, it's been done many a times in the United States like that and around the world. This ain't something to mandate that we get a vaccine. And to me, I think the vaccine is just something to quell the fear of people. People are so afraid to do anything, to say anything, or go anywhere till it's running America financially, economically, social distancing, and all like this. This isn't what America's about. America's about coming together and having a good time. I had a friend one ask me and asked me very seriously. They said, well, if I could give you $1 million, David, would you take it from me? And I didn't hesitate. I answered straight up, no. It's not money that makes people happy. It's not riches that make people happy in coins and silver. What makes people happy is themselves, accepting who you are, that this is what you are. The good sides and bad sides. You got to control the bad sides. But accepting who you are is the main thing to being happy. Money can't do that. You get somebody that's not happy with themselves more money, They just find more ways to waste it and get rid of it and be further in debt than what they were to begin with. It's happy with yourself. We see that with a lot of famous people out there. They have all this wealth, fame, and fortune, but yet they're not happy. There was a great person from the past that used to like to get lost in the public, like to just take off from his money and just go hide because of all the pressures and stuff. He just liked to go out and walk around. I believe the guy's name was Rockefeller. Which one? It might have been Howard Hughes. I'm going to let you look it up. But he said, along his travels, the happiest time he ever had was partying and dancing and feasting with a bunch of people that was just down on their luck, no money, no nothing. But they were able to pull all their resources together. They had this giant meal for everybody to share, play music, dance, laugh, and have a good time. He said by his calculations, they had no reason to be happy. They had every reason to be sad. But he found that the happiest people are those that accept themselves for who they are, not with their position in society and stuff. These are the happiest people. That's America, people. That's America. You're living here in America right now, and you're scared. You're not coming together. You're not being happy. You're not doing things to make yourself happy. No matter what you do, you're living for that next big drama, that next big fear in your life. So what does God mean as an anagram? Great oppressive dragon. Oppressive. God. Great oppressive dragon. And yet there's so many people today that don't realize that that's what God means. One God, great oppressive dragon. A term used more than 5,000 years before Moses was ever born. They are also the ones that brought the story of Adam and Eve to risk the world. So what do you believe? Do you believe the Bible? Do you believe the Quran? Do you believe Catholicism? Do you believe Judaism? Whatever you believe, know this. Make it your own. Don't make it by what other men tell you. Be happy. Do not accept the drama that's going on in the world because that's just fear. And fear will kill you faster than any disease will ever do. Don't be afraid, people. In our world, we live so tediously and so ceremoniously, one way or the other. And I want to tell you now, as I bring this to a close, the way to worship is what it was in the old days. You and that controls and rules your life. And this is David with new worship and new way of life, saying have a good Sunday night and be with y'all again. Bye bye.